Don't ask your spiritual guide any questions. And I'm gonna explain to you why this is important. But first of all, your spirit guide will tell you what you need, not what you want. And this is very interesting because most times we want to hear what we want and we kind of ask questions about what we want, but the spirit guide will tell us what we need. And when we going to ask questions, then the spirit guide, they love you, so they answer them. But all this time that he is answering your question or she is answering your question, then you have you have heard a lot, but you still don't heard what you needed to hear. And the spirit knows everything you need to hear, so you maybe even can get eventually what you want. But sometimes it's impossible to get what we want. And it's also very interesting that I have a couple of points that I want to talk to you about this. First of all, when I'm sitting here, I'm sitting on the place where I teach the mediumship and where I give healings and where I do the most of my spiritual work. And when I'm looking outside, there is a parking place and there are a couple of roads. And when I'm sitting down, I even see less of the roads. You can imagine that when I stand up, I can watch above the cars and I see a bit more. But you know what really is interesting about the spiritual guide? The spiritual guide can see what happens at the road, what I cannot see. So when they watch me and I'm thinking like, oh, I want to go this road and I want to go left over there, I cannot see through the walls, but a spirit guide can see everything. Like I think I'm like a bit more than 2 miles from my house, but when I'm cycling back home, then the spirit guides know everything on the way, but I only can see what's ahead of me, and maybe when I turn over left or right, and maybe I can watch at the back and above and below, but that's all what I can do. And that's interesting, because the spirit guide will give me the feeling from, oh, maybe I cycle a different road this way. And maybe I'm thinking about it, but it also could be that there is some trouble on the way that I cycle normally. And this is why the spirit guide will put it in my mind. And they can not do this every time, but sometimes they can. They can help you with your intuition. So with your intuition, you push me maybe to another direction, which will be better to me. And now I've talking that there was something bad or maybe something dangerous, but it could also be a way more beautiful thing about it, that there will be some lovely thing to watch when when I kind of cycle this way. I don't know really why, but I love to see birds of prey. I'm a spiritual person, so I don't really love to watch them hunt and eat another animal, but I love when they fly. That's what I love, and I love to see them, and I feel some connection with them. And so maybe they know there is a bird of prey on the road if I cycle this way. And this is interesting, so that I find a new way to cycle. And the only way I cycle this way is because I'm seeing something beautiful, something I like. The spirit guide knows this, but I cannot see to the wall. This is a very beautiful way. But there are way more important things that we're going to talk about. And you really need to know that your spiritual guide knows everything better than you. And I like you as a person, I hope you're very well, but he knows everything better than you, because he is living as a soul, and his assignment is to give you a very good time on earth, or even let you walk the road while you are here on earth. And maybe sometimes you have a really hard time, that can also be very possible, but still the spirit guide knows what you need to do and what the road is that you're walking on. I'm gonna explain this to you for myself. I don't want to talk a lot about myself, but I think it will help you. But I was I was raised in a very religious family. I love my family, and the religion that we had was also very. No, most times they think it's a very religion that they say you must do it like this or you must do it like this. It was not that this stuff. It was a bit way more easy, but still it was not my road. And I'm still have my own religion. I still believe in God, but I find my own way of this. Um, and what I found very good about this is that when I want to stop the religion, I didn't know I want to stop the religion. I actually never stopped the religion, but I stopped going to church every Sunday because I have my own way to give my attention and my respect to God and to the Spirit. But when my way was changing, I was going to a rock and roll life. So with everything you can think about it. So I played the drums and I was singing in a band like a hip hop metal band. Sorry, but I was playing in a I was rapping in a hip hop metal band and I was playing in a metal band at the drums. And in the hip hop metal band I was rapping. Maybe you cannot even imagine this, but I was looking very wild. I had I had a lot of earrings in my left ear. I have hair in different colors. But you know what's very interesting? That the spirit guide knows I need to do this. And they know why I need to do this. Because my way was the spiritual way. And the spiritual way was not the same as the religion way. And sometimes you have to do something to change. So the spirit guide, I think he was very happy when I choose for the way of rock and roll. So I have a very rocking life. Now after 3 years, the rocking life was a bit more done, and then I find spirituality. And what is really interesting is that my parents love it when I find spirituality, because you can imagine when you're living a life with rock and with guitars, it can be very good, and there are a lot of good people with a lot of good heart. But you can also imagine that there maybe is a bit too much alcohol and stuff like this. So it was a good way that it has to end also, and it was ending. And now my parents are really proud of what I do. But I think it will be very hard for my parents if I was going from religion to spirituality without this path. So other people also see from, hey, the spiritual path is very good for Eric. And the spirit guide already knew this. But when you ask me, when I was like 14 or 15 years of age, I will never believe that I will be a medium if they told me at that time, because I was way too much into church and it was definitely not my way at that time. And when years go on, things change, and now I work with spirituality a lot. What's interesting is that the spirit guide knew this. So the spirit guide will never say to me from, oh, you should not walk the path of rock and roll, because that path is not your path. It was my path, and the path was very necessary. And maybe you have your own path also in your way. But the spirit knows this. The spirit guide knows everything about you. They know what is going to happen. And I know there is a thing like a free will. And this free will is also very important. But in this free will, a free will is maybe I don't know if it's correct in English, but free will, in Dutch it's free will. I think the will is not good in English, because can make your own choosing in life. The guide will love you, but he will know what is the best for you. Okay. And he observes you all the time. So he also knows what I need to do right now for the next couple of 10 years, and I have no clue. Yeah, I have a bit of a clue, but and they also told me a lot of time ago you should work in English, and I've waited way too long with this, and because I need to make some arrangements with this, and I don't bother you with this. But I think the way how my life went is very interesting for you, and probably I will tell you some other stories another time too. But I come to which points I want to say more to you. Um, yeah, like I already say, from it's the job of the guide to bring you on the road you need to walk on. And and if you don't going on the road you need to walk on, the guide still loves you, but he know what your soul is doing here in this life, and you are here. The reason you are born is because your soul has something to experience here, something to remember. Your soul wants to know what love is, and what love really is. And because when the soul is in heaven, there is only love. So the spirit guide will walk with the soul and try to push you, not too much because you have your own choosing, but he push you a bit to the way what will be good for the soul and what will be good for you in the end, because yeah, you will grow with your soul, of course, and in the end you are your soul. It's also his job to protect you. He is protecting you through everything in your life. So maybe you have some troubles and your guide cannot help you with everything, but the thing he can do is protecting you. And I know a lot of people have noticed when they're cycling that they're cycling like this, and then they just in their mind find their thought, or maybe even worse, they're on their phone or something, and they just feel that that the bicycle is being ticked, pushed a little bit, just like, and when this happens, you're like, and then you stop and you just see the car in front of you. The guide saved your life. Some people have this, some people don't have this. Also, the people who passed away do this, but they can do it sometimes, but they not can do this every time. So don't. Yeah, you're responsible for yourself. So take your own responsibility and don't let everything by the guide, because the spiritual guide cannot help you with everything. So be careful in traffic. But he's trying to protect you, and he's trying to protect you in energy, but also, like I already said, sometimes he protect you when you don't even know it. Like you just want to go another road than you normally do, and maybe you want to go the other road because the guide had put it in your mind that this way is more safer for you, or you see something beautiful. Okay, your guide is also with you when you're very lonely. Very spiritual people experience a lot of loneliness, and this is because they want you to be alone so you can practice your spirituality, so you can sit in the power, so you can sit in the meditation of mediumship, which is called in the power. And when you are sitting in this power, then the spirit guide can make the connection to you. And how more you're sitting in the power, how more the spirit guide will enjoy talking to you, and also can talk to you more easy even when you are not sitting in the power, and give you company, especially when you're lonely. He is always with you, but especially when you're lonely, he comes a bit closer. But it is good to be on yourself sometimes, because then you can grow, then you can sit in the power. You can also sit in the power, it will be very strong with other people, but then you're still like a bit of alone, because when you're sitting in the power, it's nice to have other people around you, but you are not talking. You are quiet and you are just going in the energy of the spirit world. So there's also a thing that the guide does. What's one of the most important things? A question brings you to your mind. So a question, again, brings you to your mind. And that's really interesting to think about, because if you ask yourself a question, I know within 5 minutes you have at least 10 answers. And maybe every answer is wrong. It's possible. But I know your ego is capable in 5 minutes of giving you on any question 5 or 10 answers in 5 minutes. And maybe even more. Is it the good answer? I don't know. Maybe they're all wrong. But this is a problem. So if you come to ask your spiritual guide, a question, then probably your ego is going to answer it too. And if you let your spirit guide talk to you, then it will be way harder for your ego to take the place of the spiritual guide. So this is also a very important thing. But what I find the most important is, I think I already saw it, say it in this video. But this thing is, when you are talking to a spirit guide and you ask your questions, then the spirit guide don't have the time. He does not have the time to tell to you what really matters. Maybe you're thinking from, oh, spirit guide, I'm so lonely. I want to have a relationship. Can you help me, please? How should I make a relationship? And the spirit guide maybe gives you some advice about this, if you can hear him. And then you think, oh, spiritual guide, I have this problem at my work. I don't make enough money. And then the spirit guide goes again from talking to you about this. Spiritual guide, I need to, can you help me to get more healthy? I want to get more healthy, but I don't know when to start. But it's really interesting that if your spirit guide starts talking to you and you have these 3 questions, maybe and you get an answer, then you probably have 10 questions more. This is just how the world works. If you have your answer, then most times there are coming more questions, and this is okay, because this means you're evolving. You are getting you are growing for yourself. But what's interesting about this is that because of all these questions, you won't hear what is really important unless the spiritual guide takes a stand and says, hey, now you're kind of listening to me. But they don't do this, because they need to respect that you can choose your own way how to live, and you can choose for yourself what you ask. But if you just come in a power, you say from, hey, spiritual guide, is there anything you want to say to me? Then they maybe say, oh yes, what nice of you to ask. I love you so much, and I'm so thankful that you choose me to be your spiritual guide. The things that I want to say to you is that you need to work more at the basic of your life, because you have you don't have a good job enough to get through the month. This is the most important thing, I think, at this time, because you want to have a roof above your head and you want to have food. You have all these questions about, oh, do I need to buy this? Oh, do I need to get a relationship? But if your basic living is not good, then probably the spiritual guide will talk about this, and maybe he gives you some advice about this, and maybe he even tells you from, oh, you need to read the paper more, or this week you need to check out on the internet if there are more ways to get a job interview. And this is very interesting, because the spirit guide already knows that there are at least one or maybe more job interviews that are very relative for you, and you can put out your letter to these jobs, and maybe you get invited, and maybe you get the job. After this, you have more confidence, you can work on your health, and then you are happy. And when you are a bit more happy, and you don't even feel so lonely anymore, because you are so much being happy with yourself, then maybe this relationship also will come. But the spirit guide knows which step you need to make before. You think how it's going if you put it in the other way. Like you say from, oh, spiritual guide, I definitely need a relationship. You need to help me. Can you please help me? I ask. So I know you helped me a lot of time before, but I need it, spiritual guide. I need a relationship. I'm so lonely. I'm really desperate. So never say out you're desperate in public, I guess, but you're talking to the spiritual guide, it's private. And when you're talking to the spiritual guide maybe talks to you about but I don't think you're not ready yet. Oh, but why I'm not ready? Because there are a lot of things to do. How you mean a lot of things to do? But I have my own choosing. Yes, you have your own choosing. You can have a relationship if you want, but I don't think you are ready for it. But even if you have a relationship, how you think your relationship will work? You want to go, you meet a beautiful man or a beautiful woman, and you are going out, and when you're going out together, then the first thing you need to do is be really creative, but you do not, you won't have any money, so you won't have the money to take this woman to a great place to to go to dinner. And for one time, maybe you can choose for walk in nature, and if you're a bit creative, you can make your own candlelight if it's safe, because and definitely don't do this in summer, because we have too many nature been on fire the last year, so maybe don't take the candle to do not take the candle to the nature. Take it out in nature. But maybe you have some other romantic ideas, or maybe you have even candles without fire, just on a battery or something. You take them with you to make it a bit more romantic, and maybe you have some other great ideas on your mind. And yeah, maybe you meet exactly the same people, and maybe that's all what you need, and it's okay, and it will be lovely. But it's also it could also happen that the woman says from, oh yeah, this is lovely, I have a really good date, should we go to dinner next week? And then you give me a good time, then I give you a good time, I will pay that time, but then you're going to start feeling guilty. Because why you're feeling guilty? Because after the dinner, you know it's your turn again, and then you think from, oh no, it's not possible to go to the nature again, because then she thinks that I'm like a freeloader, and I'm no freeloader, but I don't have money. And a spiritual guide already knew all these couple of things. And now I'm talking about your life in just any way your life could be. But it's also the same thing is also happening when you are going into into your spiritual development. Because the thing you're watching me is that you are interested, I guess, in spiritual development, of at least in mediumship or healing or spirituality. When you are developing your spirituality, maybe there's something you really want to do, but the spiritual guide also knows from which steps you need to take. And it also could be really the same. Maybe they think from, oh, maybe you want to learn really something, or you want to buy a training, but the spirit guide still can say, no, you need to get a better basic life, and if your basic life is good, then we can do something else. And that is a good way to think of. If you have a really hard time about money, I have on YouTube, on my channel, I have a meditation where you can make your own connection to your spiritual guide, but please let him talk to you, because he knows what you're needing at every moment of your life. So if you're sitting, feel for yourself what you think your spiritual guide wants to talk to you about. But maybe that's not even good enough. Because then you are going, no, I take it back, because then you're going to the same thing. Then you also can choose what the spirit guide wants to tell you. I don't want to ask you today to feel. The only thing I want to ask you to feel is like you can try to feel your spiritual guide. Before I end this video, at the bottom of the video, I will link it in the comments. There will be a link how you can order a spiritual trance reading if you want. And what's really interesting is then I'm going to make a connection with your spiritual guide, and your spiritual guide will talk to you. You will know how to download it by mail. So it will come in a couple of weeks, and then I've depends on how busy I am. But when I'm talking from the spirit guide he just uses my body, but when your spiritual guide talks through me to you, then the spiritual guide will tell you what you need. And this is very very interesting, because now there is no way that you can be involved in this, because I only have your name if you order it. You must be an adult if you order it, but if you order it, I only have your name, and your surname is enough. And I'm going to ask you, don't lie about your surname, because that will involve my mind, and then my mind will get onto it, and I would just want to work with your spiritual guide. But I only have in Dutch we call it your first name, but I'm Erik. I'm Erik van Riese. Van Riese is my last name, and I thought surname is your first name. So if you're also Erik, then you say, I'm Erik, I want to order this kite when you order it, you just write down your name. Your surname will be enough. And then I will make this reading for you. And it's not only about what you need at this moment, it's also a meditation. And this meditation is what is the best way for you of sitting in the power right now. And the spirit is not going to say because you get the reading from 15 minutes. In this 15 minutes it will be a shame of the time when I'm going like, oh, now you're sitting quiet, you close your eyes, and then I be quiet for a couple of minutes. That's not good for your reading. But in your reading, the spirit guide will tell you the steps of the meditation. If you order this, you also get to know which life you have lived with your life which you have lived with your spiritual guide, because you have lived a spiritual guide with your you have lived a life with your spiritual guide before. So I hope you like to check it out. When you're going to the comments, you will see a link, and in this link you will see some more information. And I want to thank you for listening to me today, and I hope your mediumship is growing, and it will be very good. I wish you a very good day.